Hi, PV Squirrel here. It's been a while since I posted a video because I accidentally stepped on my phone one groggy morning at 4 a.m. in the Amazon, and I just got my new phone, a G8 Q. It just came today for $150. I'm super excited about it. Mostly because now I can record videos again and my camera's working. And yeah, it's time for a checkup on how I'm doing. And maybe I can tell you some stories about life in the Amazon and stuff like that. But first off, let's start with how I'm doing. So my blood numbers are still going upwards, more and more blood, and we want that to go downwards. But I've figured out a couple things with the whole gentleness approach. I think in the other videos I was talking about gentleness being the fifth element, and I figured out kind of when I'm running what it feels like to have stress in my body. And once I figured that out, you can see in the numbers, when I stopped running with stress in my body, you can see the numbers don't go up as quickly. It's kind of a slower plane of going upwards. And then the most recent thing I figured out was how to not stress my body out with cleansing too quickly. And that's what I learned in the Amazon, is that fruits, especially fruits and coffee, can really help your body to cleanse the toxins out of your lymph, and it kind of deposits it into your system. But then your second brain, the mesentery down in your stomach, will feel those toxins and start to kind of freak out just a little bit, which explains why we hear we should eat a salad as our last meal every day, right? The salad kind of flushes all those toxins out of the system. And so when I finally learned how to stop stressing my body out with cleansing too quickly by eating the fruits and letting them just sit, or eating fruits as maybe my last meal, you can also see my blood starts to increase at even a slower pace than it used to. So I think I want to just show you what the numbers look like. So I'm just going to make a graph and let you see my red blood cells, and we'll put the red blood cells in red, and we'll put the graph right here, right next to me. There we go. So red blood cells in red, and you can see the red blood cells back in November, how they're kind of going down at first after the phlebotomies, and then slowly starting to rise, but at a slower pace than the previous year when my hematocrit was climbing like 2% every month. It got up above 65%, which was just crazy. Now it's kind of going at a slower pace because I'm learning now how to run within. In November, I'm running at a 120 beats per minute heart rate, whereas now I'm actually able to run up at 140 beats per minute heart rate and still stay within that zone where the cortisol isn't causing stress on my body, just because I've been running for 60 minutes every single day at that 120 beats per minute heart rate. So it's helped build out the capillary superhighway. So theoretically, I have 10 times as many veins for oxygen throughput when I'm running than I used to have. So a lot less stress at the higher heart rates. And I'm still getting all of the cleansing from my lymphatic system when I'm running. So that's really great. The white blood cells are in, we'll say, blue, and you can see they mirror kind of that down trough in November, but then they go up and they kind of stay up. And that's just because I hadn't figured out the cleansing aspect yet. I was accidentally cleansing too fast. And I think that's actually what might have even caused the polycythemia vera, because in the 2 years prior to this, I was on an alkaline diet where I had decided it would be great to do the intermittent fasting and not eat in the morning and instead just drink coffee. And I was using, because I was on keto, I was using this powdered fruit supplement by Dr. Gundry, which gives you all the nutrients that you need without the sugar, because that's what keto is all about, right? But what I essentially did was I created an environment for my body, which has been building up mucus in my mesentery and toxins in my lymphatic system and all of the stuff throughout my lifetime of eating whatever, fast food or just being around radiation or mercury, stuff like that. Suddenly my body, I think, just went into super cleansing mode, because when you're fasting, you're cleansing more quickly than normal. Like, let's say normal cleansing is a dam with a little hole and then water shooting out the hole. And that is the toxins in your body just slowly releasing. But when you fast and then you are drinking coffee at the same time, it's just like there's so much releasing into your system that holes are breaking loose in the dam and water is just shooting out. And then you start adding fruit juice into that or fruits in the morning. It's just bad news, just way too many toxins. And then if you wait all the way until dinner to eat your salad or your roughage, which is like the broom that sweeps it all out, then you're just putting your system under a lot of stress. It's a lot better to I follow the Mucusless diet healing system, which is what I learned about in the Amazon. And it's just, the whole system is just a way to slow cleansing down, but to still be cleansing, while also slowing the addition of mucus forming foods. It's great. You'll love it. It was actually written about in the late 1900s. I think it's like 1891 is when the book was written by Dr. Arnold Ehret, who was one of the founding members of naturopathy, actually. His best friend at the time came up with the word pheromones and popularized that concept. So it's really neat stuff. Still helpful to today, as you can see. But back to the graph. So we've got the hematocrit we'll put in yellow, and that is the density of blood cells in my vein. If that thing gets too dense, then you can basically have a blood clot where all the blood cells coagulate, and then that can go into your brain or into your lungs, and you don't live much longer after that happens. It's a sudden heart attack or stroke, basically. And so normally with polycythemia vera, if we're at the low risk stage, which I'm hoping I am, you should have a good 15 years of slow onset before everything starts to pick up and become really rapid. But as you can see by my chart, the hematocrit it's increasing only by maybe 1% a month now. So I've slowed it down from the previous 2% in the November month with the running. I had a phlebotomy then in January. As you can see, it dipped down again. The phlebotomy happened in January and in November, which basically creates iron deficiency so that your body can't create more blood. You can only do it so many times. I think you can do it like 10 to 20 times before it starts developing scar tissue in the marrow of your long bones, which is where the stem cells are. And then that develops to myelofibrosis. So that's why people say you basically get 5 to 7 years of polycythemia vera before it graduates to myelofibrosis. And then you've got another 5 to 7 years before the blood just is forming blood clots quite quickly. Thankfully, there's interferon and Pegasus and a lot of different types of chemotherapy medicine that can help slow that down and add another 3 to 5 years on. But I'm trying to cure this naturally. So let's see, we've got the white blood cells, red blood cells, the hematocrit in yellow, which should be around 35% to 43%. Mine's kind of getting up there right now. It's back towards 45%. but it's going at a slower pace. And then if you see my platelets, basically my platelets will say in green started dropping at the same time that I really started to figure out how to eat lettuce right after I've eaten fruit, and how to not eat a lot of fruit. Just eat a little fruit in the morning, and don't drink coffee when I'm fasting, stuff like that. And so, all in all, it's still getting worse, but it's getting worse at a reduced pace, which is not supposed to happen. It's supposed to accelerate slowly. So I'm feeling like I'm onto something, and I'll keep it up, and then I'll post back to the video series to let you know how it's going. But all in all, I'm definitely still doing the 4 things. I meditate, so a healthy mindset. I practice Tai Chi. Hunyuan Tai Chi is what I have adopted, and I have a lot of fun learning how to relax into my body and feel different energy spectrums. It's really nice. And positive mindset. Still practicing centered and exhilarated meditation when I'm talking with others, which is a great talking meditation. And yeah, just reducing the stress when I exercise to stay within the zone that's not causing cortisol, but is still allowing your body to cleanse, which is important. And I think the cytokine 6s are released in the heart rate between 120 to 130 BPM in that area, so that the swelling can create a place for the cytokine 9s to proteins to come and eat the old cells and basically help your body continue getting rid of the old cells and allowing space for new cells. So it's like a hot air balloon rises when you put good stuff into it, but also when you let the sandbags off. So all of that I think is helping, but I'm just really surprised that what's helping more than putting good things in is not putting bad things in. So not causing myself stress, not cleansing too quickly, viewing food more as roughage and brooms to clean out my system, and less as just this consumerist additive, like, oh, I'm going to put a bunch of healthy things in me and then I'll be fine. So there's a lot more complexity and coherence to the practice of keeping a healthy diet, as I'm learning. And yeah, so that's about it. The Amazon was incredible. I spent 3 weeks learning about a lineage. I had to change the camera because I wanted to show you the clothing that I got from the Shipibo people while we were staying in the Amazon. This was made kind of by the locals there, and in general, my trip to the Amazon was amazing. They were able to provide us with the expertise there around the different plant medicines that we used for 3 weeks. And that's kind of the most important thing about this place that we went, which was called Kaya Shobo, is that they are one of the centers that are approved of by the Shipibo Konibo Council. And the reason they're approved is because the medicine workers there are very respectful of the lineage of the Shipibo people, which is most importantly focused on safety with these plant medicines. There's a lot of ways that you can move out of balance, and they are well aware of that and are able to continue bringing this lineage to the world, and also letting us come and share their home for a time period and teaching us how to use these plants as well in a safe manner. And so I have so much gratitude for the experience there. They're the kindest people, and it's wonderful to know that I'm welcomed back whenever I want to return. And I learned so much about the lineage, and yeah, I think it was kind of life-changing for me to have experienced everything I've experienced there. And it's definitely changed my views on diet and medicine. The diet I'm currently on still now, I picked up from Becky down in Kaya Shobo, who is so helpful and she's the one who turned me on to the mucusless diet. And it's amazing. Every morning I get to check my tongue and see if there's mucus in my body, and then I finished the transition diet. If you look it up on any search engine, just mucusless diet, you'll see all about the transition diet and the mucusless diet. And it's just really fun to be able to know that you can eat these fruits that will bring the toxins into your gut, and then wait 15 minutes and then eat the vegetables that are like a broom that clean out your gut, and then the different signs of sweating and smells and the mucus on the tongue, and just all the ways of knowing how much toxins the endocrine system is pushing out, so that you can know how much fruit to eat to expedite this elimination process versus how much salad to put in your body to help with the elimination process. And all of it just gives you immediate feedback and experience, and you get to know who you are in terms of gut health. And if you've studied the mesentery, which is the area around the organs, it's the second brain as it's referred to, then you know that the health of our second brain in our gut is almost more primitive in its response times to the neural pathways in our bodies and the representations in those neural pathways of how our other mind, our first brain in our head, should react and correspond. And so they both work with each other, but I just have so much more respect now for that second brain in my stomach. I feel like it works on a very primal and fast level. All right, I love you all, and I'll see you next time. And if you leave questions in the comments, I will definitely try to respond in video form. I won't be giving out my email address or any private contact info, but I'll definitely try to respond in the videos. So fare thee well. See you next time.